Welcome to Daily Bread. As always, this reading is timeless, which means whenever you find this message, or whenever this message finds you, is when you're meant to see it. So please, take what resonates and leave the rest for someone else. The energy's already been cleared. Let's get started. Let's start by asking Source, what is the energy we need to focus on for this message? What is the energy we need to focus on for this message for you? What is the energy we need to focus on for this message for you? What is the energy we need to focus on for this message? New chapter. Yeah, so I see someone who is looking at the start of a new chapter. And I see someone who is standing on the other side of the door. So you've already started a new chapter, and I see someone who is looking backwards at the door that they just walked through instead of looking forward to see what's in front of them now that they are outside of this tower that was on fire. So just metaphorically speaking, like I see someone who came out of like an incredibly bad situation, like I see someone who was maybe at an organization and it failed, but you got out in time. Or maybe you didn't and you were laid off in the process. I see someone who, I'm so sorry, I see someone who may have lost their home and now they are on the other side of homelessness and they're still traumatized by that experience. Whatever it was that you went through and that building or situation fell down and collapsed around you, you made it out to the other side. And you are looking back and you are like, oh my God, and reliving that moment a little bit. And Source wants to tell you, hey, you're able to look back at that moment because where you are now is safe enough. It's safe enough for you to, you're watching this video, it's safe enough for you to say, okay, let me turn around and get a new look at where I'm at. I have to start a new chapter. And for some of you, this new chapter is going to be great. Here's the thing. So for some of you, the new chapter, when I say great, it's always going to be great. But what I mean by that is some of you are looking forward to something that's really awesome, and some of you are literally in a space where your new chapter is somewhere where maybe you didn't expect to be. And, it's okay because the opportunities that are available to you now are so much more abundant than they ever were confined in the space where you were. So the good news is Source is telling you that you have a new chapter in front of you, and how you feel about it. Remember to keep that in check. How you feel about your situation is how you feel about your situation. Ask yourself, why do I feel this way? What are my emotions trying to tell me? And remember that your emotions are responses to information that your emotions are reactions to something. So ask yourself, what's making me react this way? Go deeper, root cause analysis. So let's go into the tarot and see more about what Source is telling us for a new chapter. Again, please take what resonates and leave the rest for someone else. Go ahead and press that like button, follow, leave a comment, share with someone you care about, and may help them. Source, please give us more guidance for you. Ask Source for more guidance for you in the new chapter. Source, give us more guidance on the new chapter. Give us more guidance on the new chapter. So we have the Eight of Pentacles, the Two of Swords, and the Page of Swords. So yeah, what I'm seeing is that someone who was in that dark space, while you were in that dark space, you were developing a lot of skills. You were investing a lot of your mental energy. You were investing, and here's the thing, and some of you were over-investing. And that's how it started to threaten your material security. Because when we talk about material security, yes, we are talking about money, like actual, paper and coin, or I guess digital money now. But we are also talking about the things that give us material stability. So when we talk about these things, we're talking about the things that are at the very bottom level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So we're talking about like food, shelter, those kinds of things. Someone was over-investing themselves so much that it compromised their ability to provide for themselves in that particular way. So maybe you were dealing with someone who had an addiction and you were, victim to their addiction, and it started to cost you things, or the other way around. But anyways, or maybe, someone in the organization was that way, and, maybe you were loaning people money, but while you were in this situation, you were developing a lot of skills. So even if your skills were how to survive that situation, you were on the other side of this, and you now have knowledge that other people do not have. And I really see that once you embrace that you have these skills, you have a lot of light. I see someone that's going to really strike someone like a revelation, that they are full of talent, they have a lot of creative ideas, they have the ability to lead and follow, they know how to be guided. You're about to learn how to start trusting your intuition. So even when you feel like you're walking on a razor's edge, you're going to be able to say, okay, I'm going to be able to follow the signs, the birds or the wind or certain flowers, or for some people I say like a butterfly, or there are signs and signals that you have for yourself that are in nature that give you that you have a sign, and you know what they are, and you'll see those confirmations of positive things. And when you continue to work towards your highest good, and when you continue to work towards what gives you inspiration, and what give not just and not just what gives you inspiration when you give it something, but things that freely give inspiration. I see someone who's going to be spending more time in nature, and I see someone who's about to get more money, stability, and financial security. So within the next month, I really see someone who's really about to start getting multiple streams of income. Things are going to be unexpected. I see someone who was in a state with this Two of Swords of complete confusion. People around you were trying to gaslight you, and someone has finally started to understand that where you are in this new chapter, it's not because of anything that you did necessarily by yourself. Someone is finally understanding that there are influences and circumstances outside of them that are also acting influences on their life. So when you're going through and you're doing this internal evaluation, take that blindfold off and understand how to balance that out of, okay, this was in my control, this was not in my control. And even though I now know this, I did not know this at the time. And I did the best that I could with what I had. And even if I can now see what I could have done better, I did what I needed to do. And guess what? It was still the right thing. Every decision that you have made in your life has been the right decision because of your creativity, your talent, and your inspiration. How do I know that every decision has been the right decision, even if you feel like it hasn't? Because you are here, you are alive, and you are watching this video. So somehow, every decision that you've made in your life has gotten you to a point where you have sufficient technology to be able to watch this. You have abundance inside of you, and you have abundance around you. And when you let go of allowing yourself to cling to and be blinded by these forces around you that want to convince you otherwise, you're going to finally be able to find your flow and soar. And I really see that's what's coming in for someone. So let's pull an oracle card, and we're going to see what actions or advice source will have for you with your new chapter, and really exploring your talents and using those talents to change your situation, particularly on the inside. I see someone who's really about to start feeling a lot more inspired, and they're really about to know which direction they want to go in their life. And this is the turning point. This is the fork in the road for someone. So, to be fair. So, again, when I was saying, understand those things that are within your circumstances and not. So what I'm saying is, when you're evaluating that, be fair to yourself. Be fair to yourself. When you are making these, and when you feel tempted to look back at this situation, when you do that, remember, look back to see what you have to take away. Look back for those things that you can use to inspire. Okay, someone, you were in a situation and you went back, and people might look at you, or you might have a close one to go and say, oh, how could you do that? Blah, blah, blah. They've never been in that situation. They have no idea what it's like. So whatever it was, and they're like, how could you keep going back to that? And the answer is, it's because your heart is so big that you are being brave. You at the time, you were scared to death and you thought that you were trying to help someone or a situation and your heart was in the right place and you were having a trauma response. And some people only know of, fight or flight, but that's not true. Remember, well, it is true, but update your resources. So now we have fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. And maybe you fawn, and people don't understand that, so they'll criticize you. But someone is learning to ignore those criticisms to be fair to themselves. When you're doing that, when you're doing your internal evaluations, when you're trying to figure out who's gaslighting you or not, your goal is to be fair to yourself. Primarily, ask yourself, am I being fair to myself? And that's what's going to guide you forward to this new chapter. That's the question that's going to guide you forward through your new chapter. And you're going to see the success within a month. You're going to start seeing a change in your finances. You're going to start seeing a change in your relationships. You're going to start seeing a change in the way that you interact in the world. I see someone who's going to be hydrating. I see someone who's going to be spending more time outside. And I see someone who's going to be more fair to themselves in their rationalizations and in their evaluations of where they've been, and have a really great perspective on what that means for where they're about to go, because you're not defined by those things. So please, thank you for tuning in to Daily Bread. Press that like button, follow, leave a comment, share with someone you care about, and I'll see you next time.